Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Preacher Mars, host of the SOS the Shout Out Show. Hope everybody's having a great day today. I know I'm trying to. And if you're not having a great day, think about this. Your day could be worse. So be thankful for whatever is going on in your day, because it's not by accident, it's not by design, it's by purpose that you are where you are today. Number one, I want to also give a shout out to all the people who are coming on the Shout Out Show for the first time. I always say all, like it was a whole lot of people. But listen, I want to give thanks, if you will, that our subscriber numbers have definitely grown. We're at 121 subscribers. All praises due. We're trying to get to 122. So call people you like, call people you don't like. Tell them to subscribe. If it's your first time coming on the show, listen, hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. And the like button, don't hit the like button if you didn't like it. Don't patronize us. Let us earn your trust. Let us earn your time. And hopefully when you come back or when you experience this show, this point in time, we give you a compelling argument to enjoy yourself. That's number one. Number two, you are an official member of the Shout Out Show family, the Shout Out Show soldiers. And we have some soldiers in the building. I like to say we got some stars in the buildings. We have our regulars, Sister Rabina, Sister Sultana. We have Sister Kina, we have Ika, we have Mom, we have Miss Eleanor. You hear all the names of people I'm just throwing out, just dropping like that, because it's real. It's real. So now, I took care of our new folks. Let me take care of the soldiers. And if all you new folks who are coming, if you got something to say, don't sit on it. Put it in the comment section and get your shout out. That's why you come. You get your shout out. You want your views to be heard. It's not like other shows. You got to put them in the window. I will post your shout out. And I put that on me. So that's number one. Number two, shout out soldiers in the building. Man, y'all in the spot real early today. Let me holler you out. What's going on, Sister Reed? Sister Satana. Oh, and my big sis is in the building. Star alert in the building, everybody. It's Layla Muhammad. What's going on, big sis? We miss you. You been all right? You been all right? I owe you a phone call, because we don't normally go that long without talking, but I owe you a phone call. So as always, you're in my doors, and I hope you're doing okay and you're blessed. Give a big hug to Mom as well. Sister Rabina, all the way from the UK, staying up late, checking out the SOS show in her pajamas, brothers and sisters, because she's a soldier with it. So listen, I want to throw this out here, and I don't want people to think that this is a conspiracy theory show. I don't really do conspiracies. What I do is I line facts together. Like many of you, I align certain facts together. And what I do is I try to pull the logic out of one situation and see if it's applicable to another situation. Am I close? Am I wrong? Am I right? It doesn't matter. It's about understanding that I'm looking for relationships and things that are going on that I'm seeing right now. I alluded to it yesterday. I said we've gotten away a little bit from looking at relationships. We want things very cut and dry. They're not going to be very cut and dry. Let me bring up the topic, brothers and sisters. You might have seen it already. I put it on it. Our topic today is beware the COVID-19 super spreaders. Beware the COVID-19 super spreaders. We are in super spreader season. The super spreader in chief is Donald Trump. COVID in chief is Donald Trump. Now, I went through some things, brothers and sisters, and I always say, why isn't the law applied to the president or these powerful leaders the way it be applied to regular people like myself or yourself? Why is it, brothers and sisters, that the logic does not apply? All right, big sis. We'll talk too. I wonder why the logic doesn't apply. Like one of the best things I realized about religion, uh, as a practicing Muslim, I practice because I'm trying to get better. Remember that. I don't practice, I practice because I'm trying to get better. One of the things that's always been amazing to me is that the logic has always been consistent. You know, I love my mom. Here's the thing about my mom. Her logic is never going to switch. Her logic is always going to be consistent. And her logic is applicable whether I was 2 years old or I'm 52 years old, 3 years old or 53 years old. There's a line of logic, meaning I can follow it from being a child all the way up to being an adult. In current times, that does not happen because you have children acting as adults and adults afraid to deal with those same children. But I looked at it and I'm like, even in the permissibility of laws have been broken. Laws have been broken. And I'm saying this because these are not just laws like financial laws. These are not laws of things we would say, local law. These are life laws. These are laws that have to do with life and death. Life and death. And today I just want to make the case because I want folks to understand, I'm not coming up with these things. I'm very blessed to have people around me who do challenge me, that give me information. Sister Rabina has always given me a lot of information. But I look at history, and more so than anything, I've become a better historian. In high school, take all those subjects away. My favorite subject was history. And I don't just mean history that you told me, his story. I mean historical understanding. And so for that, brothers and sisters, I really want us to get into this a little bit more. Because I want to break this whole thing down with Donald Trump. First of all, brothers and sisters, I don't think that COVID is a mistake. I think COVID has been on the way, and I believe that COVID had a strategic arrival here in the United States. Let me say that, a strategic arrival here in the United States. The timeline seems to be different, but I remember people being sick, really, really sick with quote unquote, some of the worst flu I've ever had in my life, self included. It was the idea that why are we not talking about it? We're still talking about it as the flu. Now with Bob Woodward's book, where he's talking about the president, you understand that the president knew. Therein lies the fact that if you withhold information that could be detrimental to other people, in any court of law, you are culpable. So we deal with a president all of a sudden who's not culpable because the Constitution protects him, so to speak, and he cannot be addressed, brothers and sisters, about his crimes or misdemeanors until he gets out of office. But here's my problem. What if those crimes and misdemeanors are affecting people at this very moment in very real time? Why would you, per se, why would you leave a killer in the midst of people to be killed because there's a proclamation that says, well, he's also the president, so we can't deal with that situation? The framing of this has been very, very scary. And now you have a situation, a scenario. Thank you, Brother Malcolm. We have a scenario of chickens coming home to roost. Chickens coming home to roost. Because sometimes people drink the Kool-Aid. People drink the Kool-Aid. So say, preach, what does this look like to you? This looks like Jones. This looks like Jim Jones type of stuff. It's the return of cults. People are drinking the Kool-Aid knowing it's going to kill them. Knowing it's going to do them harm. Knowing it's going to damage their families, and they're drinking the Kool-Aid. That's what this whole thing was about this group of people in the Rose Garden. You know, brothers and sisters, that this man was sick and other people around him was sick. And yet you would still show up. Hey, do your thing, baby. You would still show up and hang out with sick people. Now, brothers, this is how ridiculous it is. I have a good friend of mine going through all kind of hell and high water with his sugar. I mean, he's been sick a long time. But you know what the hospital won't let you do? As a healthy person, the hospital will not let you into the hospital. You cannot see him. You can look at him on video, but you will not be coming into the hospital. It doesn't matter whether you cleared COVID or whatever. You need a breakdown of what Kool-Aid is. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Sister Rabina, Kool-Aid was a powdery mix that you pour in the water and put sugar in, and it was nice. It was a broke kid's dream, basically. Kool-Aid. I'll have to give you a breakdown on Kool-Aid because most of the people here on the comment section, we all grew up on Kool-Aid. If your mama had money, you can get Country Time lemonade. However, and this is a shout out to my little brother, JT. But here's my point. Bear with me for this a little bit. I believe, brothers and sisters, with over 210 deaths here in the United States, I personally believe, and I could be wrong, feel free to challenge me, I believe that the pre-existing conditions are the seeds that were already here. So when COVID came through, it didn't have to do a whole lot of work to get people infected. Didn't have to do a whole lot of work to kill people. It didn't have to do a whole lot of work to infirm people. Think about this. The gasoline was already here. You just needed the right match. And even with this president, he, being culpable for the things he's done and the things he has not done, in my opinion, has been that match. And under his leadership, we have seen a super spreader phenomenon happen, not only with the people who were sick, but the leadership or lack of leadership, telling people to endear themselves to danger, telling people that I want you to go out. I want you to go out in the midst of danger and engage with the danger. Go out and make this thing real and don't be afraid. I mean, this is like the end of days for people who don't have logic. You see what I'm saying? Oh, and everybody's getting on the Kool-Aid thing. All right, there you go. Oh, you have fresh lemon. You're in the UK. I'm gonna send you some Kool-Aid one day. But I'm not sending sugar. Let me stay on this point. The COVID-19 super spreader, that event happened several times. One was in Oklahoma. That was one of the major victims was Herman Cain, a black businessman. He was the president of Godfather's Pizza. He actually ran to be the Republican candidate for the United States of America. At a small point, was leading. Then he dropped out of the race. He was a cancer survivor. A cancer survivor. I don't want to put his picture up while he was at this event because I think it's disrespectful. But in that picture, let's be honest, he's there with the three or four other misguided black folk that think Trump is the bee's knees, and he's there without a mask. Brothers and sisters, he was dead within inside of a month. In fact, when he left that event, he's headed to the closest ventilator in town. That's the way I break it down. But let me break this down to you. Allow me to switch this up a little bit. I'm going to give you some names. You've never heard of them before. Some of you may have. And I'm going to give you the scenario. Okay? I'm going to give you this scenario. There's three names. They're all men. Rudolph Smith, one name. Felipe Padu, another name. And Darryl Rove. Let me give it again. Rudolph Smith, Felipe Padu, and Darryl Rove. What do they all have in common? Okay, well, Rudolph Smith's from Maryland, Felipe Padu is from Texas, and Darryl Rove is from the UK. Why am I bringing their names up? Because they committed a crime. They committed a health crime. All three of them committed a health crime. Let me tell you what the crime is. All three of these men were tried and sentenced for knowingly transmitting the HIV virus. Let me say it again. All of them were tried and sentenced for knowingly transmitting the HIV virus. Rudolph Smith, I think it was 3 women. Felipe Padu, I think it was 6 or 8 people. Darryl Rove, 5 men. 5 men. 5 men. And let me tell you why it's important. Because he had nothing but intentions to get these men sick. I'm not talking about sexual preference. I'm talking about the whole idea right here. To the point where if the men wanted to practice safe sex, brothers and sisters, he destroyed the condom to make sure they got sick. He got 10 years. Felipe got 22 and a half. And Rudolph Smith got He's going to do 9 years. He had 30 days suspended, all but 9 years. Now, here's my deal, brothers and sisters. Knowledge forthwith. Say it with me. Knowledge forthwith means that you have awareness, that you have information of an event that has yet to happen. And that event, brothers and sisters, is that they infected these people in the different ways. Why is that important? Because you're looking at the same thing right now. You're looking at the same thing right now. The danger is not only Trump, it's the other people that think that they are somehow invincible, just like Trump. And they walk around thinking, if he could do it, doggone it, I could do it too. It's a scary scenario. I'm going to tell you why. When I read the thing, or I watched the interview about this Darryl Rove guy who intentionally got people sick on HIV, he infected other men with HIV. You can't have anything but some level of compassion, because the one guy said, I prided myself on being careful. This person breached this guy's decision to practice this thing and be safe. And what he said, I want all of us to remember this, for all the cases. All of the victim statements said the same thing in some regards. That my life will never be the same. That my health will never be the same. We do not have any or rare, meaningful information on what COVID is going to look like 5 years from now if you suffer from COVID. We don't know if there's internal scarring. We don't know if it lays dormant. We don't know. We don't know. But think about this. We don't know, but they have to know something. Think about that. Each one of these men that I told you, in a court of law, 2 in the United States, 1 in the UK, the law said clearly they had violated the law. They had broken the law. I'm watching a man take off a mask, knowing that he's sick, knowing that he's coming from treatment, and getting away with it. Why is it he can get away with it, but I've given you 3 cases with basically an accumulated amount of years of about 50 years in prison, and no one else, brothers and sisters, is somehow affected? That's right. Yep. Sister Rabina started by Herman Cain. Yeah. But my point is, why do you get away with it? Now, in the United States, everybody's done their homework. You've heard me talk about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Farmers down in Tuskegee, Alabama, many of them illiterate, many of them manual laborers, were offered the auspices of being tested for what was called bad blood. Bad blood, brothers and sisters. And unknowingly, they were tested for bad blood, but they were injected with the syphilis virus. And it was left to be untreated as a undisclosed study. But this study was sponsored by the government. They wanted to see how quickly it would spread through this Black community. I know it sickens you, it sickens me. This experiment didn't run for a week or 2 weeks, a month. Nobody signed off on it. It went for 40 years. 40 years. And only by mistake, someone leaked out the information, was it caught and ended. But for 40 years, and let me tell you something, brothers and sisters, nobody went to jail. Nobody got locked up. Nobody lost the doctor's license. Nothing. And I'm beginning to feel like, in this situation that we're dealing with right here, right now, the case would be that I have to say that the case would be building that there's a set of laws that we don't know about, that we're not privy to, that allows people to do these things this way repeatedly over and over and over and over again. Why did these three men go to prison? And the president of the United States, I guarantee you, when this thing is over, he's not the president anymore. Because of the value and the weird affinity for this bad system, he won't go to jail. People will look the other way. All I'm saying is I want a fair process. Is that fair enough? I want a fair process. I want a fair process. I don't care if it's an election or not. Everybody knows me. You know how I am. But I'm gonna put it like this, brothers and sisters. We see all this police brutality and stuff like that. We watch it on the news. Say if I'm on the news and you saw a guy walk up to me and go, I have COVID, and he spit in my face. Like, in my face. Would you blame me if I absolutely beat the brakes off of him? Would you show up in court and go, preacher, we understand? Do you think the judge will understand? Or do you think I would have a charge of assault? Big question. Big question. What do you think? Because in this situation, this scenario, I believe there's something even more diabolical. Bear with me here. We're dealing with the early aspects of COVID. We're talking about it hasn't been here a year. Over 210 people have died. They've died in the space of scientists having to learn about the disease. Hear what I'm saying now? They've had to learn about the disease in a space where there was already pre-existing information. There was already data. Wuhan had plenty of data. The Chinese president talked to the American president. The idea of not relaying that information to our scientists, and even to this day, denying scientists or denying the science of what COVID-19 is, seems to be the playbook. Check this out. The next election, 2024, everybody's been saying it. You will have, brothers and sisters, you will have predominantly people of color. In the United States, people of color will be the majority. White people will be the minority. So in this point in time, it's no big secret. The last bastion of being able to hold on to quote unquote white power, white privilege, is that we're going to attach to the law. We're going to make sure we're in positions where we affect the law, where we benefit from the law, because we make the law and we can apply it as we want to. It doesn't have anything to do with upholding the law, interpreting the law. It has so much to do with how can I make the law work for me? How can I make the law work for my people? Things like redistricting, things like redistricting, things about voter suppression, things like that. People say it's not voter suppression, it's the law. It's voter suppression. But what gives you out is you can frame it as law, and that, brothers and sisters, is the crime that we live with right here, right now. If you ask me if there's a criminal in the White House, I say absolutely. There are multiple criminals, multiple offenders. I can't in good faith just point my finger at Donald Trump. He's not that smart. Woo, did I say that? He's not that smart. That's right, Reed. It's an assault charge. But I'm going to say something even more. I sound like the old Nation of Islam. Sorry about that, everybody. I charge Donald Trump for being a murderer and an attempted murderer and a conspirator. I charge him with all these things because he is a man who will not stand up for the decisions that he made. You have to understand that the people see you as culpable, and we will not let you, brothers and sisters, off the hook. We will not let it be a situation or scenario whereby you can look the other way. You can't look the other way. Excuse me. You can't look the other way. Stop tweeting. Your tweeting as far as I'm concerned, your tweetings are confessions. You're telling me you were culpable in killing these people. You're telling me, and another thing. Oh, I almost forgot this one, brothers and sisters. Another thing. How is it that this man can get the rarest of medication when he wants it? Let me tell you something again. How can he get it when nobody else can get it? How can he get it when all these people just died in space where the scientists didn't know what was going on? Remdesivir, whatever it is, y'all know what it is. That was supposed to be the vaccination to fight Ebola. And it was a failed vaccination. That whatever, remdesivir has been around since February, March, April, May, June, July, on up to the present, brothers and sisters. It's been around since the time of Ebola. And you're telling me the president is the only one that can get it? You're telling me he's the only one that's qualified? You're telling me that a man who put himself in danger and harm's way along with everybody else is the one that gets to go to the front of the line to get the cure? But I'll be damned. That's the most telling thing of where we are right now. Hear me, brothers and sisters. I'm not being mean, but I ain't no sucker. And I just feel this way. And people could say whatever they want to say. I feel like there's a crime that's been committed. And I'm saying we need to step up and admonish these people who are in these positions. Because they're scared. They're scared. Anytime you have people who can look at facts and understand that this is a disease that not only can kill you, the burden of proof is this killed 210,000 people. And somehow, you're going to walk in the midst of this thing and come out okay. The little press secretary has COVID down. Her assistant has COVID now. Trump, and I'm going to tell you, if there's any black people working in the White House, call in. Put your application in at the nearest Waffle House at Denny's. Don't stand up there and let that man get you sick. Let's think about those names again. Rudolph Jericho Smith got 30 years. Well, they suspended all but 9 years. Felipe Padu out of Texas, 22 and a half years. Darryl Rove, 10 years. All of them are serving time for infecting people, knowingly affecting people. What's the word? They had knowledge forthwith. Knowledge forthwith means that essentially they knew before the event happened. You can even say that with COVID. Donald Trump had knowledge forthwith about what COVID was. How can we watch this guy in his own words say that it ain't that serious? It ain't that real. It'll go away. Somebody sent me a thing, and it's 5 minutes of Donald Trump talking about it'll go away, 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 it'll go away. Now he has it talking. He can't even talk. He sound like, when you vacuuming something and in a big piece of paper gets caught, and that's the way he sounds. Talking about I'm all right. He couldn't even say I'm all right. I'm okay. The conspiracy is in place, people. I honestly don't even think. Here's a conspiracy thing. I believe that last video he made that before he went to Walter Reed. He made videos about his health before he went to Walter Reed. Ooh, I know. No conspiracies. But think about it. They knew that this is a disease that could affect people with pre-existing conditions and did absolutely nothing about it. Premeditated is some of what I'm talking about. But knowledge forthwith means I know about the event. Premeditated murder means I did the murder. Premeditated, pre-knowledge for means I knew about the murder before it happened. So look, I gotta go. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you for listening to me. If I went a little bit off the rails today, I apologize. The idea is that there's a sense of urgency. So I'm apologizing just because I don't want to be disrespectful, but there's absolutely a sense of urgency, brothers and sisters, and we cannot look the other way. So remember a couple things before I go. Remember, fill out the census, number one, because I think this is the thing they're trying to make sure the numbers are smaller. Fill out your census and definitely get into line to vote. I don't care if you got to wear your mask, put a mask on grandma, leave her in the car, drive the car with grandma into the voter registration place. That's what you do. Because this cannot continue. So, brothers and sisters, God bless. I'll see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have an exceptional day. Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from philosophies. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out philosophies.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.